What's up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. So as you can tell by the title, we have some more leak updates I want to cover here in this video. So this was stuff that I originally covered in like February or March earlier this year, and I just wanted to kind of go over these things now that we have almost a year of information and news and updates since this stuff originally came out. And I just think it would be fun to discuss this, whether or not these things are actually going to happen and if they're true or not. So without further ado, let's get right down to it. So his first thing here is from JT17. So he replied to somebody talking about basically why don't we have a Rack and Ruin by now in like the Mayhem Attack Squad subline or something like that. And JT17 responded, "Now we're cooking," and that got a ton of likes. And if you don't know who JT Prime is, he basically knows a lot of leaks. He has a ton of insider knowledge. He's been very well known about this for the last, I don't know, 5-6 years maybe, possibly even longer. So yeah, he's very credible. So I don't know if he's hinting at a new Rack and Ruin coming at some point. I mean, we're already going on a year since he said this, but stranger things have happened. You know, there's been a ton of delays in figures over the years. There's been figures that were planned but were canceled, so we're really gonna have to wait and see. But it's surprising to see that we haven't gotten a Rack and Ruin all this time, considering we've gotten all these updated records the last 5-6 years. We've gotten a ton of obscure G1 comic book characters the last couple years. And, you know, these Mayhem Attack Squad and Wrecker sublines, you would think they would want to put him in there to add to that playability and collect them all sort of factor with the Wreckers and the Mayhem Attack Squad and stuff. So hopefully we do get him at some point. I could definitely see them doing him as a Voyager class in the next couple years possibly. But who knows at this point? It could be 5 years until we get a Rack and Ruin. For now, I would just use that Cyberverse Ultra class or whatever it was called from like 2020, that Rack and Ruin. That kind of fits well with your chug shelf if you really want one to cover your bases until Hasbro does an actual Generations Rack and Ruin. But hopefully this comes out sooner rather than later. So this next thing here is from a Chinese social media post, I believe. One of their websites, their social media websites over there. I forgot the name of it. But it was a person that leaked this information. People weren't sure how true it is, and you know, there was a lot of conflicting reports. And some of this information is starting to make a lot more sense as the months have went on this year. So I'm going to read through this list and I'll give you all my thoughts on everything as always. So it says here, the next combiner is Defensor, still Commander class plus 4 Deluxe class. The next MPG combiner is either Road Caesar or Lio Kaiser. Comic line character will be officially released by the end of 2026. Metroplex package refresh will be in Comic line in 2027. There may be 2 Titans, Grandis and Broadside, with sizes similar to Star Optimus Prime in 2026. DAI Atlas and Devil Z will also be Titan. Primus has been postponed until next year. And then whoever reposted this said, it's becoming increasingly unbelievable. Well, I don't know. Let's break these things down here. So they mentioned us getting Defensor next after the Combaticons, it looks like here. And this was months before Hasbro came out and said, yes, Defensor is a combiner that we're looking to do at some point soon. One of the combiners that we're going to be doing next, along with Predaking, they've been talking about the last few interviews. And yeah, this kind of lines up. This tracks with what Hasbro has been saying in the months after this leak came out. So it seems like they were either guessing lucky or they were on the money with whatever info they were given. If I were to assume something, I would say I don't think they're lucky, because I mean, you could say Predaking would come, or the Technobots or something, because there's quite a few G1 combiners there they could pick before a Defensor, in my opinion. So I don't know, it's really up in the air. But it is interesting to note this person said this months before Hasbro started talking about them doing a new Defensor at some point. And this whole MPG combiner thing between Road Caesar and Lyle Kaiser, I mean, I don't know. I could see them doing it, but I honestly don't know their scheduling with Takara and the new MPG line with combiners. I mean, we just got Raiden complete not too long ago, so I'd assume the next one would be coming at some point. I mean, Road Caesar and Lyle Kaiser, they do seem like likely options. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these was announced at some point soon. But I don't know. It's one of those where it really can go either way. I really don't see this being credible or this not being credible right now. But I would love to see a masterpiece version of either of these combiners. Such awesome characters, in my opinion. The comic line character being released by the end of 2026, they were kind of right about this. This might have been slightly outdated or misconstrued info because, again, this is from a Chinese social media site, so the information and the translation could have been kind of altered, and it's kind of like a game of telephone a little bit. So this whole thing was basically right, except for the release by the end of 2026, because we're getting that Skybound Optimus Prime. I think it was summer of next year, the release date. I think it was like June or July or something, it says on the Hasbro Pulse website. So they were basically right about this. The only detail that was wrong was by the end of 2026. It was more so the middle of next year. But again, that could have been misconstrued info, outdated information that was once correct over at Hasbro. Plans changed. Who knows? Metroplex package refresh will be in Comic Line in 2027. That's honestly up in the air. We don't really know a whole lot about 2027 outside of a handful of leaks and information we've gotten over the last few months. So I could see this going either way. They have talked about recently doing a Metroplex reissue where they would have to sort of redo some things to make them fit into the modern price point or something like that. It was in like a MetroCon piece of news I covered, which I'll be doing a recap and leak update video on that at some point soon in the coming days, so stay tuned for that. So Hasbro has talked about reissuing this Metroplex earlier this year, and I believe that was also after this leak came out. So make of that what you will. Were they on point with early information at some point, with something happening at some point in the next couple years with a reissue, or was it just a lucky guess? I have no idea, but this does make sense. It would line up with Hasbro saying yes, they would like to reissue that Thrilling 30 Metroplex, but I believe they were saying they would change the electronics or something with that figure to make it fit within the modern price point, because I mean sure, that thing was like $130 when it released in 2013, but it ain't 2013 anymore, unfortunately. So there would probably be some changes to that, probably some added ankle pivot or articulations, some things like that, but who knows? We're gonna have to wait and see. And the two Titans with similar sizes to Star Optimus in 2026, that's obviously not looking likely considering we have the two Commanders for next year, and the Titan class is in Studio Series with Age of Extinction Grimlock next year. So I don't think this is going to be happening. Maybe it was something that was planned at some point, but it was canceled, outdated information. Maybe it was something for 2027. This could be where we get two Titans in 2027 being Grandis and Broadside. Maybe it was misconstrued information in that sense, where it's not for next year, but it's for 2027. I could see that totally being the case. But who knows? They have been talking about changing up the price points and changing up how they release certain size classes a year, and we've already seen that to be the case with what's going on next year with Commander and Titan class. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get two new mold Titans at some point in 1 year. DAI Atlas and Devil Z also being Titans, I mean, I could see it. They are planning characters years in advance, so maybe they have the Titan class outline for right now at least. I mean, obviously plans can change for the next few years probably. I wouldn't be surprised if we see these guys in like 2028 or 2029 in the next couple of years. We're really just gonna have to wait and see. But I don't know, DAI Atlas I feel like can work better as a Commander class. I could be wrong on that, but I don't know, something about that seems a little odd or just outdated info or just flat out wrong. And Primus being postponed until 2026? I mean, there has been word about Primus being a HasLab next year. How credible that is, I have no idea. But, we didn't get a HasLab announcement this year. It seems like they were right about knowing that we wouldn't get a HasLab announcement this year, and it would be in 2026, because Hasbro has been saying that, yes, the next HasLab will be coming out next year recently in interviews. So, again, is it a case of them being right about information, or was it just dumb luck, But I wouldn't be surprised if the HasLab is Primus next year. The leaks... there was a leak that I covered saying that it's either Gigatron or Primus. So that's what I'm thinking. It's between those two right now. If we hear any other news, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, guys, that does it for all the leak updates I wanted to cover here in this video. There is quite a few of these have received updates here in this list that lend credence to this leaked info being true, but there's also some stuff here that is really still up in the air, or we just don't know if it's true or not. But yeah, guys, let me know down below how do y'all feel about the leaks here. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye.